What's going on, Malaysia? Hello, Salam Sejahtera and Salam MCO. I'm Daniel Anthony from Kini TV and welcome to a brand new series by Youthphoria at Malaysiakini called F's to Give. First of all, thanks for giving an F and tuning into this first episode. See, Malaysian news can be monotonous, repetitive, boring, or outright sickening, or all of the above. Plus, when you hear Malaysiakini, you probably think we're that news website your parents read that's stuffed to the brim with politics. Well, given that Malaysiakini is over 20 years old, I really can't blame you for feeling that way. And hey, if you've seen me on Sekilas Fakta or Kini News, you might be wondering, hey, why do we need another news show? Well, this ain't a news show, this is F's to Give. I'll be giving you some things that you should give an F about. I know, I already sound like a boomer who's trying to sound cool from saying that, but bear with me because there are reasons why you need to care about certain things. There are stuff that, trickle down from the corridors of power in this country that will eventually affect the lives of us young Malaysians. For example, this month, the federal government rolled out the e-Belia program. If you're not using an e-wallet, well, now's the time to start. So as long as you're between the age of 18 and 21, you are eligible for 150 ringgit of Ewallet Credit. That's right, free cash people, 150 ringgit of Ewallet Credit. And even if you're not in that age group, as long as you're a full-time student at the diploma level or SKM4 and above in a private or public higher learning institution in Malaysia that's registered with the relevant ministry, you are also eligible. If not, well, try to sign up anyway, you've got nothing to lose. To get this, it's really simple. Download and install one of the 4 participating e-wallet apps, being either Touch and Go eWallet, Boost, Shopee Pay or Big Pay, and as soon as you sign up or log in, well, the apps just won't shut up about it. You have until the 22nd of July to claim this, but the allocation is just 300 million ringgit, so you might want to hurry up. Once approved, you have until the end of July to spend it before it all goes poof. Moving on, now that we're stuck in this boot loop of an MCO, many Malaysians want a way out. One of these is the current vaccination rollout program. Now I know what you're thinking, no, vaccinations are not a free pass to violate SOPs and run around without a mask. No, you still gotta follow the rules even if you've gotten your jab, so listen up. Vaccination rollouts that are going on right now aim to achieve herd immunity, where we have enough people in the Malaysian population vaccinated to be able to effectively suppress COVID infection. However, we are also in a national emergency, and under this emergency, there are 2 things that you cannot and should not joke about: the emergency itself and anything related to COVID-19. That's because there's an ordinance in effect targeting any fake news regarding COVID and the emergency with harsh penalties not just for media people like me, but for everyone. So you may have heard that a very generous company wanted to donate a couple million COVID vaccines to the state of Penang. That sounds like your average corporate social responsibility or a CSR stunt, until it started looking, for the lack of a better word, sus. It started with Penang Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow calling out the minister in charge of the vaccine rollout, Khairi Jamaluddin, for not allowing Penang to receive this vaccine donation. To which Khairi hit back saying that the checks showed that the company who offered the vaccines does not exist, and let's stop right there before we get too deep, okay? This is an ongoing story, so while Chow and Khairi sort this mess out, here's where you have to give an F. Avoid jokes and sarcasm when it comes to the emergency declaration and anything related to COVID-19. You may feel like what you say or write is harmless, but we all know how that game of broken telephone works. I lost count of how many times people have shared doctored screenshots of Malaysiakini articles on WhatsApp, only for a distant relative I haven't spoken to for years to come message me out of the blue to ask if it's real. You may remember some of the propaganda surrounding our first anti-fake news bill from way back in 2018. These ads were all over the place on billboards and public transport, and here's where things get awkward. Regardless whether you were aware of whether or not a piece of information was fake, it's that sharing a lie makes you a liar. Now that's how it works here. I don't make the rules. Although this new ordinance, as explained by Communications and Multimedia Minister Saifuddin Abdullah, only concerns news about COVID-19 vaccination and the national emergency, it's not that hard to connect the dots when it comes to news about anything including the MCO, scanning My Sejahtera codes, or even just, eating out. What you need to do is exactly what your college lecturers would not stop going on about, citing your sources. It's always best practice to share links rather than screenshots and, God forbid, copy-pastes. Copy-pasting segments of news articles is known as dark sharing. Nope, it's got nothing to do with the dark web. Instead, it is a practice of sharing that is not visible to the publisher of the original content since it was taken most likely without permission. This is particularly dangerous not just to the publisher but to you as well because it can be devoid of context and prerequisite information. Since it's often not timestamped, it can also be outdated news. If you have doubts regarding a screenshot you received, take the initiative to search it up, be it on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, or more notoriously Instagram. A picture can tell 1,000 words and also potentially 1,000 lies. If you can't be bothered to verify the information before sharing it, I suggest you don't bother sharing it at all in the first place. And for those of you who copy-paste Malaysiakini articles for your friends, haha, it's better to be safe than sorry. A subscription to Malaysiakini is just 20 ringgit a month. That's 20 ringgit a month to support the independent media. Sometimes fake news is as clear as day and night, but sometimes it's your word against someone else's, which is why you'll want to follow this next F to give. Whistleblowing. Often you hear this term in the high echelons of the corporate rat race, but what about in school? Meet 17-year-old Ain Husniza Saiful Nizam, more fondly known as Ain or Anteater in the headlines of the news. A rape joke made by her teacher in school didn't sit well with her, and it shouldn't sit right with you either. Speaking out against your teachers is not something you're highly encouraged to do. In fact, you're always taught to have unwavering respect for your teachers in school. However, Ain's respect stopped where the rape jokes began. Her call-out video on TikTok then exploded online, which put her in the headlines both locally and internationally, but also into the crosshairs of some of her schoolmates. It's never easy speaking out against the cool teacher dude in school whom everyone seems to like because they seem, well, cool. And just like any workplace, institution, social network, or Discord server, cool people have a tendency to get away with anything. That's why Ain's call-out post is super duper important. Not only did she stick it to the status quo, she had to endure rape threats and even death threats that were either sent her way or posted to group chats after she blew the whistle. See, to many of us, rape and death threats are a distant, irrelevant phenomenon. That's where I have to remind you that Ain is one of us. Ain's a student, like many of us were. She's a Malaysian, just like us. She's no VVIP. She's not a politician. This could happen to any of us, anywhere that we're in. It's no secret that sexual harassment takes place in the workplace, on social media, and can even be in your close friend's WhatsApp group.
A lot have said to me, right, Ain, aren't you being a bit emotional, right? You could have settled this in school. You are apparently muddying the school's name. Okay, so you want me to just settle in school, right? Will this ever change of how other schools work? Will it really change how the teacher thinks that it's okay? I don't want this thing to be normalized.
Ain's story gives us two major F's to give. One, you should care about those who voice grievances, especially those who do so against the status quo. These people do so knowing that they will get thrown under the bus by their peers, so they need your support because of the second point that I want to make. This culture cannot be normalized anywhere. Not in school, not in work, and especially not at home. Just because Ain's a girl doesn't mean you guys don't need to care about it either. Hey, yes, listen, you, right there. Yes, you. This is on all of our shoulders, regardless of our gender, so that we can keep our spaces safe, and that includes actively rejecting the idea that rape is okay. It never is, and it never will be. That's some F's to give for this month. For more daily news, you can subscribe to Kini TV on YouTube, it's free by the way, and follow Malaysiakini on Twitter and Facebook to get the latest headlines. It's been great having a chat with you today on Youthphoria. Now we want to hear from you. What other kind of behavior shouldn't be normalized? Tell me in the comments. Also subscribe to Kini TV so you don't miss any other news and special reports. I'm Daniel Anthony for Youthphoria at Malaysiakini. Thank you for giving an F.